Life rarely travels in a straight line. It moves through seasons of hope, achievement, love, responsibility, loss, uncertainty, and change, often without warning us what the next chapter will bring. This is the story of one family whose journey began with ordinary dreams, finishing school, building a career, falling in love, raising children, and creating a home. Yet quietly in the background, long before tragedy or illness ever appeared, a promise had already been put in place. I was that promise. I watched their lives unfold through joyful beginnings and painful endings, and when the moments came that no one wanted to imagine, I was there. Not to erase the sorrow, but to help protect the people, the dreams, and the future they had worked so hard to build. I first came into their story when life was full of promise. He moved from high school dreams to college hopes, then into the working world with ambition in his heart. Along the way, he met the woman who would become his partner in life. I watched their love grow from possibility to commitment, and on their wedding day, I quietly took my place in the background, not as the center of attention, but as a promise for the future they were building together. Then came the beautiful years of building. Marriage grew into family, family grew into responsibility, and dreams became real in the form of children, a home, and a future worth protecting. I watched them celebrate new life, walk through the front door of their home, and plan for tomorrow with love and intention. While they worked, saved, and sacrificed, I remained quietly nearby, ready to stand in the gap should life ever take an unexpected turn. One day, the unthinkable happened. The spouse who had helped build the family's world was suddenly gone, leaving behind grief no words could heal. I could not replace a husband, a wife, or a parent, but I could do what I had been prepared to do, protect what love had built. Because of wise planning made years earlier, the home, the children, and the family's financial foundation did not collapse in the middle of sorrow. Even in loss, love kept speaking through preparation. Years passed, and a second storm arrived. The surviving spouse, once strong and steady, was struck by serious illness and could no longer fully care for themselves. Everyday tasks became harder, and the need for help grew greater. But once again, planning made room for dignity. Because preparation had not stopped at death alone, there were resources to help provide care, support, and peace of mind. The family was not left to face the burden empty-handed. They were given choices, help, and hope. In the end, the children were not left broken by tragedy. They were protected by the wisdom of the parent who had planned ahead and by the love that kept providing even after death and illness had done their part. The family legacy endured. The children were cared for, the home and future were guarded, and the next generation could move forward with strength. That is the quiet power of preparation. I was never just a policy. I was a promise made in love, built for the day this family would need me most. I was there all along. The final lesson. Life does not always follow the plan we imagined. We graduate, we build careers, we fall in love, we marry, we raise children, we buy homes, we celebrate milestones, and somewhere along the way, we begin building a future for the people we love. But life can also bring moments we never expected. A sudden loss, a serious illness, a disability, the need for long-term care, or the painful reality that someone we love may have to continue without us. That was the lesson behind this story. The policy could not stop tragedy. It could not prevent illness. It could not replace a husband, a wife, a mother, or a father. But because someone cared enough to plan ahead, the family did not have to face emotional loss and financial devastation at the same time. The home had protection. The children had a future. Care could be provided when independence was lost. And the plans made during better days continued speaking when the person who made them could no longer speak for themselves. That is why protection planning is about much more than purchasing an insurance policy. It is about asking, if something happened to me tomorrow, what would happen to the people I love? Would my family have enough income? Could they remain in their home? Would my children still have opportunities? If I became seriously ill or could no longer care for myself, where would the money for care come from? And would the legacy I spent a lifetime building survive after I was gone? These are not always comfortable questions, but they can be some of the most loving questions we ever ask. I'm Terrence S. Phillips, M.A., a licensed insurance professional with more than 35 years of experience across insurance, business, finance, accounting, auditing, banking, and financial services, and licensed to assist clients in more than 35 states across the country. Through Smarter Health Insurance Options, my goal is to help individuals, families, and business owners understand their protection needs, review the options available to them, and make informed decisions with greater confidence. Whether the concern is life insurance, long-term care, disability protection, critical illness, health coverage, Medicare, or protecting the financial future of the people you love, the first step does not have to be complicated. It can simply begin with a conversation, a review, and one important question: if life changes tomorrow, are the people I love prepared? You cannot control every chapter of your life. You cannot predict every storm, but you can make decisions today that may help protect the people you love tomorrow. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson of this story. The policy was never the hero. Love was. The policy was simply one of the tools love used to prepare ahead. So when the family eventually looked back across all the years, the graduations, the wedding, the children, the home, the laughter, the loss, the illness, and the legacy, the promise could finally say, I was there all along. Because love planned ahead, and that plan protected tomorrow. I'm Terrence S. Phillips with Smarter Health Insurance Options. Let's have a conversation about protecting what matters most to you. Protect your family, protect your future, protect your legacy. Smarter Health Insurance Options. Call 8775-280-702. Visit smarterhealthinsuranceoptions.com. Product availability, eligibility, benefits, underwriting requirements, and coverage options may vary by product, carrier, and state. Let's have a conversation about protecting what matters most to you. Protect your family. Protect your future. Protect your legacy. Smarter Health Insurance Options. Call 8775-280-702. Visit smarterhealthinsuranceoptions.com for more information.